Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland. Watch it now on Prime Video.
At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Big back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. It's that time of the week where me and Foster are hosting Who Will Be King with our distinguished guest from the NFC North. I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on all the podcast aggregators, and StreamYard is really, really tripping right now. I think everybody's frozen. There we go. Guys, are you still with me? StreamYard did a thing for a second.
Yeah, I was thinking you were doing your best ventriloquist imitation.
No. It's doing some glitchy stuff. Let me run this again. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on all the aggregators. That's anywhere you can listen to a podcast. You can just type in Bleachers and Speakers FFSN in your search. Make sure you're following us. Make sure the notification bell is on, so when we drop content, you will get an alert. And we're also asking you to download those episodes. We want to know who's listening, where you're listening from, and all that good stuff. I got my people here with me from the NFC North Division. Is still cutting up on my end for sure. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it gets right in due time. There they go. They're back. And there's no more glitching for the moment. I'll let you guys go around the room and introduce yourself and let everybody know what you got going on. We'll start with Dave. Dave, how are you doing? What you got going on?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing great. I represent Vikings First and Skol. I'm the executive producer, and we talk Minnesota Vikings. And June, anytime we get glitches, we blame it on solar flares or sunspots. It works every time, messing with the satellite.
Yeah, sounds about right. I got the CEO of Chicago, my boy Pay. Introduce yourself, man.
I'm Pay, representing the Chicago Bears show and all of the Chicago branded sports teams coming out of the greater Cook County and surrounding areas of the Chicagoland area for the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans channel. And unlike Dave, I blame any technical difficulties on two things. One, the Green Bay Packers, or two, whoever's hosting, they didn't do their morning routine. They didn't dunk their face in ice cold natural spring mineral water. So get your act together, John.
I'm trying. And the other half of Bleachers to Speakers and Post Game Podcast, and also Corner to Copa. We have one of the most wealthiest men in Michigan. B. Foster, introduce yourself.
B. Foster, like you said, the other half of Bleachers to Speakers. I have no blame to pass along. So,
well, he's rich. He's not going to blame anyone.
Oh, there's plenty of blame to go around when you're rich, which is why I have none. But
fellas, how you guys doing today, man?
We're doing great. It's Wednesday, and we're talking the NFC North, which, of course, is one of our favorite topics.
Yeah, I was caught myself being halfway prepared a little bit, but I had the dates wrong on the draft. I thought the NFL draft was April 10th. It is April 24th, and I didn't want to just talk about the draft. Once I realized I was wrong, I didn't want to just talk about, because we got a lot more time to talk about the draft than I anticipated. I'm thinking in 2 weeks, yeah, we can talk about this draft. We're still going to touch on it a little bit, but the draft is about a month out, as Pay pointed out to me, and there's some other things we can talk about. I know the Lions have made a couple of late moves as of last week, and there's some rumors swirling around, but I want to go around the room and I want to ask, starting with you, Dave, any new news out of Minnesota as far as personnel or coaching wise, or anything you have to talk about?
Oh, sure. Today, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, our GM, had a presser, and he explained the process of Minnesota talking to Aaron Rodgers and how all that went. KOC, Kevin O'Connell, was the lead on the discussion. They talked about it and eventually came to the conclusion that as of now, we're going a different direction. But they have yet to anoint J.J. McCarthy as QB1, even though he is QB1. And Kwesi even came out and asked the question, does anybody ever tell the quarterback he's QB1? And I'm
I can answer that.
Do what, Pay?
I said I can answer that. The answer will be yes.
Yes. And I thought it was silly, but it is what it is. And of course, we saw J.J. McCarthy down in Mexico draining a 25-footer for Eagle, and the Minnesota Vikings golf team, took the lead after day one of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Pay, what's going on over there off 63rd?
Well, over here in the low end, Joe, we got a couple of things going on with the Bears. As we got off our show last week, the Bears did make another signing. That's another one. Be scared. Return man Duvernay is now a Chicago Bear. Minor signing in the grand scheme of things, but the Bears have had very. It's been one of those easiest things to do. Just secure the return has not been an easy thing for the Chicago Bears in the last few seasons. If you recall, jettisoned third-round draft pick Velus Jones was our main return man the last 2 seasons, and he had a fumbling issue. Well, he had a muffed return issue. He kept putting the ball on the dirt. So Devin Duvernay, he is an upgrade in that facet as well. He's an experienced return man. He's done a lot of things in this league as a gadget player, as I said, as a special teamer. So we are happy about that. It's the little things that build a winner, as I've said. I mean, as I've been told, I'm not too certain about the Bears being winners. So people that have won, they've told me it's always the little things. So I'm expecting this to build into a volcano of W's come the fall. Other than that,
won the offseason, what now? 4 years in a row?
3, just 3, Dave.
Oh,
just 3.
Okay.
Just 3. But we haven't secured this one yet. We're in the lead. Now, in 29 days from the NFL draft, we can shore up a lot. If we draft I got my list. If you're paying attention to the channel, we're dropping film. But you might hear me leak about who I like. But we can still, if we get the right player at 10 days, or if we do some maneuvering around, might trade up, might trade back. Never know. We can put this 3-peat away. Chicago loves 3-peats.
Yes, they do.
It's been a while. Foster.
Unnecessary.
What's going on in Motown, bro?
Well, we've made a couple more additions to our secondary by way of cornerback through free agency. We signed a couple guys, Rock Ya-Sin, who has formerly played for the Raiders, the 49ers, and Ravens. He's a former second-round pick. He's been brought in to add some depth to our secondary. He started his career in Indianapolis. He made 29 starts out of 41 games, and he's just another tough physical corner to add to our roster. We can never have enough cornerbacks in the building. We obviously dealt with a lot of injuries, from Ennis Rekistraw, Carlton Davis, didn't end the end of the year with a broken jaw. And then I want to say Meek Robertson broke his arm in one of the last few games. So can never have enough cornerbacks. We also went out and got Avonte Maddox, who's now a Super Bowl winner. He actually made a couple nice plays in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And he is originally from Detroit. So he hails from King High School. So he's a guy that has mostly played nickelback. He's a little bit undersized, but he's going to bring us some versatility. He played a little bit of safety last year, in fact. But a good playmaker, a guy that does pretty well rushing the blitzing out of that nickelback position. So we should be very deep at cornerback, which is always important because we play in a division that has a lot of really elite receivers. So should be some good competition, and that doesn't even account for who we may draft. And obviously we already have Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed manning the outside. So I'm pretty pleased with the additions that we've made to our team. The free agency has, was a slow start and a progression, but I think it's rounding out pretty good.
Yeah, there's a couple of rumors I heard out of the Detroit Lions camp as far as players being moved. Meek Robinson's name popped up today.
Okay.
As a possible trade piece to go to Buffalo. They even said the actual destination. Oh no, we got a few Royces on the team, and when I say Royces, those are corners that are 5'9".
I like that.
Yeah.
That was good.
DJ Reed and Meek Robinson,
that.
Maddox, they're 5'9". Yeah, a little on the shorter side. But hey, it is what it is as far as that. I mean, it's a rumor for now. And, once again, I've heard this name, Hendon Hooker's name has been on the rumor mill a lot this offseason. And his name came back up, not a destination with this one, just his name is being brought up as far as trade pieces, even going into the draft as being a piece to be able to be traded to either move up in the draft or whatever. So we'll see.
The initial rumor, there may not have been any legs to this, but when the rumor that Ben Johnson was going to Oakland, they said that they might bring Hendon Hooker with them. So is Chicago in the market for a backup quarterback? Well, we wouldn't do that, will we?
No. We've given them enough.
Giving them the world, I guess.
That's enough of our leftovers. You get your own, do some original stuff.
Minor clarification: we've taken enough.
Rob, did he stick us up for it?
I mean, there's criminal.
It's Robin season, Foster. As you know, I mean, the snow was melting, and it's about time to put your ski mask on. It happens. But as far as Hendon Hooker, as far as backup quarterbacks are concerned in Chicago, I don't think that job is available. Our backup quarterback, he's got a following. His following might exceed the actual talent of our starting quarterback. He's got it. Some might even say it's a cult.
We didn't hear about him much last year, but the year before, I know. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Oh man,
he don't even know his name.
I just know. I just know I'm not a part of the cult.
You're not a part of it, so you wash your hands of even the knowledge of his name. Yeah.
He's cool. He's a cool guy. I just need everyone to realize that he is a backup quarterback. He's barely a NFL quarterback. So
he's like a D3 guy, wasn't he?
Yes, he's a D3 guy. He's got a great story, and he's plucky. You know all the synonyms that come.
Plucky.
Yes.
Bagman.
Oh,
yes,
the bag. Yeah, that's
the bag.
I had to look it up.
Yes, baggy. Yeah.
He's got a cool first name, Tyson.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Everything about him is cool.
Does your team's fan bases care as much about the QB2 as Minnesota's?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to speak for my fan base. Absolutely not. Because the reason why your fan base cares so much about their QB2 is for actual, Sunday reasons, right? Mm-hmm. Our fan base cares about the QB2 for dumb reasons.
Okay.
Bagman you're talking about.
Yeah.
Tyson Badgett. There is a headline that I found interesting from Green Bay.
Teabag.
Oh, why?
Speaking of tea bags.
Yes. Our people, our pivot in the middle it comes from the Milwaukee Journal. And they did a survey of the most popular, I shouldn't say popular, the highest ranked general managers in the NFL.
Okay.
Where do you think Gutekunst finished?
Who?
Brian Gutekunst, their GM.
Yeah, he definitely have the name of a last place. I don't know.
31st.
Yeah.
That's where they're projecting the Packers to finish?
No.
Gutekunst is ranked there. I'm sure they're going to finish last in the division this season, even though the national press balks at that and puts them usually at second.
You think the stockholders for the Green Bay Packers are paying off the media?
You've maxed out your 401k. You're contributing to an IRA and making some other investments. You're ahead of the game and doing well. But where do you go from here? The same old story can only get you so far. If you want a new take from a new type of financial professional, we invite you to get a fresh perspective beside an agent with the backing of New York Life. Insurance, investments, retirement, and more. Visit NYL.com to learn more. Investments are offered through registered representatives of NYLife Securities, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC, a New York Life company.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Nah, it's just that Green Bay is one of those teams that sells. And the national media doesn't. They all go with the hype versus what beat writers and those close to the teams or people like us who live tracking our teams know and say about our teams. And they're going to hype Green Bay. We got the draft coming up in a month. Where is it?
In Lambeau.
Mm-hmm.
In Lambeau.
It's in Lambeau?
Yes, it would be.
I think the actual draft
is in Lambeau. In Lambeau Stadium or field or whatever it's called.
Why didn't we think of that?
Great.
Because it's a better city. I don't know. You have other places to hold the draft.
We have outside, I guess. Yeah, because it would have been weird inside.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, I got a question about the draft, and we'll go from there. If you're listening, you're going to hear some ads. If you're watching, stay right there. We'll be back in 10 seconds.
Get your lick back. If a nugget gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nugget gon'
All right. I got a question, fellas. Now, this question was brought by B. Foster. Actually, he sparked the idea, and it probably won't take too long. It's probably, I thought I had the answer. I mean, my opinion, but I want to ask you guys, what's the deepest position in the draft this year? And we'll start with Dave. Oh, well, we'll start with you, Pay. You ready? You're chomping at the bit.
I think the deepest position of the draft is actually defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, when I say deepest, I mean the amount of talent that can be a rotational player, right? Not maybe not everybody's a starter, but I think you can find more quality linemen, defensive linemen in this draft than any other position. Now, I'm gonna let somebody else answer. It might be more top end quality talent at another position.
Your defensive lineman is a good one. There's probably only a handful that are good at rushing the passer, causing pressure. But the rest deep are going to be great run stoppers. It is deep. Now, the other section I would give is running back. Running backs deep. There's more high quality running backs. Mm-hmm. You can get one in the 3rd and 4th or 5th round that can turn into something. He may not be a bell cow back that's going to lead you to run 2,000 yards, but he could be a good part of a 1-2 punch and develop into something that's special. It's besides defensive linemen, I'd say running back is deep this season.
Yeah, I know two from that really nasty school down in Ohio. They have two that are ranked in the top 4. Henderson and
Judkins.
Yeah, so they're ranked 2 and 4. So yeah, Foster, what are you looking at as far as draft positions?
I definitely think that defensive lineman is a good answer. Edge rusher being it when you're talking about particular being the highest one. The sleeper one that no one's talked about yet is at tight end. I think there's 2 pretty good tight ends at the top of that list between the guy out of what's his name, Loveland, and then Warren out of Penn State. Big Ten's doing big things this year because they got a top end receiver and then you got 2 interior guys. You got Graham and Grant, both out of Michigan. As much as it pains me to talk about all these Michigan people,
it's okay. We'll get through this.
In due time. But Michigan's got a lot of people that are likely to go in the first, and they got a corner as well. God, I'm done.
Now you've done enough. Done quite enough. Has any of your guys, Dave, any of your projections for who you want? Well, first of all, where are you picking in the first pick? And do you have any changes of who you might want changed throughout from the combine all the way until up until now? And whoever you got free agency, has that changed?
Oh, since free agency, yeah. Oh, heck yes. It's
of course.
We're at the point where we can go BPA. However, there are a couple players we want. Was it Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon?
Out of Oregon, the big guy. I like that.
We'd like to add him to the B-Flow's rotation in the middle. And Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State, a local boy at guard. Is what
Harmon's from Detroit.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are the 2 I see. We could possibly go wide receiver, which is weird, but it's possible. There's a kid out of Ohio State that's falling down into that range.
Ibuka.
That's a possibility. So it is what it is, and if the right running back falls, we could go that way too. We're basically at the point where we can go BPA.
Foster, I'm gonna double down. I know it pained you to talk about the Wolverine, but I'm gonna talk about Ibuka. He's and you can, and if for more information, you can go to Bleach Speakers where Foster did a player profile on that guy. He runs a 4.39 40, and he's a supreme route runner. So that's what they do down there at OSU. Those wide receivers run really, really good routes, and they just happen to get really fast and athletic guys at that position. So it's he's going to be a good receiver. He's going to be a very good one out of there. Pay. I know you did a lot. Your Bears addressed a lot of the needs in free agency. Picked up some nice pieces to go along with with what you got going on already. What's your stance as far as your draft pick, and where are you picking at? You at 10, right, or 11, right?
We're at the number 10 spot. The Bears did, as you said, a lot to help themselves and make their draft day process and draft day plans. They did a lot to open them up, open the books wide open. They can do whatever they want to do. Like Dave said, they can go BPA, best player available. And I think a lot of Bear Nation would like the Bears to go ahead and draft one of these top end running backs. Maybe Ashton Jonty. Maybe if you talk to one of my co-hosts, he's really high on Judkins. Me, on the other hand, I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with the trench work that we've done, and we've done enough. But what I saw this past season and giving up almost 70 sacks, we got to retool that whole entire line. Not just 3 guys, not just the 3 interior. I want another one. And based on the film work that we've already done here at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, the film review that we've put together, I'm looking at Ahmad Mimbu out of Missouri. I am really impressed with the tape that I see on this kid. Now, he is only 6'3", but he's nasty. He's very top heavy, strong. And he gets his footwork is really good. I mean, there's sometimes that his kicks aren't as crisp as you would like, but I love the way he gets out there on the run. He pulls and he just knocks people around. And guys like Shamar Stewart, guys that try to bull rush him and try to run around him, he just stonewalls those guys. Like, he doesn't go for anything. You see him not get confused on blitzes and on stunts. He knows exactly who to get and who to chip and when to pop somebody pop somebody's shoulder pads. That's the type of player we need on our protecting Caleb's blind side. So if we can get him, I will be a happy Bear fan. Now, there are some other players that would also keep me happy as well. After that would be maybe somebody like Javon Walker out of Georgia. I don't think he's rated that high, but I would like to see him in the Bears jersey. Any of the other top end tackles, Will Campbell wouldn't be mad at him as well. Kevin Banks wouldn't be mad at him as well. Now, as far as a running back, I would rather roll the dice for a running back. I like what I see out of Jonty. I like what I see out of Omarion Hampton, North Carolina. I like what I see out of him a little bit more. I think he's more of a prototypical body frame for a running back at the pro level. Judkins as well. If those guys were to fall to the 41st pick, where the Bears have their second round pick, manna from heaven, right? I would take that in a heartbeat. Rush that card up to the stage right then and there.
Foster, has your outlook changed on who you want at that 28th pick?
I think it's given us some clarity. I think I would have been more prone to lean towards the secondary had we not signed so many players in that regard. So at this point, I just want us to get a high impact player on the defensive side. It could be an edge rusher. It could be front seven wise, an edge rusher or a linebacker that we kind of talked about a little bit. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, you can never eliminate the fact that the Lions go after a receiver, because we've been known to do that on a couple of years where that might have been not the highest priority. But I don't see, maybe offensive line as well at 28. So yeah, I think that we've addressed most starters and most of our depth pieces. So I think it does put us in a position to where we can, not to mirror what everybody else is saying, just go after the best player available, because for one, we're picking after 27 other picks. So, everybody's going to get everybody's going to get the first crack at most of the first round picks. So, I don't think you can really lose wherever you go, as long as he's a good player that fits, the profile that we're looking for.
Yes. As far as
the tight end.
Yeah, that's another one that, I don't think we would do it, but
I don't put it past.
I don't put it past us.
Hey, it's on Minnesota's list this year.
Shout out to Eric Ebron, who came out of nowhere. I don't know why. North Carolina. That's North Carolina, right?
Tar Heel.
I could go on. I don't want to go down that road. I'm in a good mood. Foster. One of the things we always talked about is basically draft position. And, it's the reality of it is, if you have a good team or you do good, I don't want to say a good team, if you do well the season before, you're not going to draft early. So people that's the Cadillacs and the Ferraris and all that good stuff and the first 15 picks will not be at your probably won't be an option if you did well the season before. So drafting at 28. You're usually looking at the best person available for us, though we have some needs, and that's along that front seven. So mine has been primarily a rush end, opposite of Hutch, uh, but that has changed a little bit. I think if you get someone else along that front seven, but as long as you address the rush in later, you might, what I'm saying, at some point, within the draft, I'll be fine with that. But I would be really, really shocked if they didn't address anything in that front seven. I'd probably be pissed. But once again,
not to downplay we talk about Ferrari. Sometimes you get a Ferrari later on. Brian Branch, 2nd round. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4th round. We've been known to find the diamonds in the rough.
Well, the thing is it's smoke and mirrors as far as that. Like we don't know what a Ferrari is until they actually get on the field. We're just talking about as far as going into the draft, who looks the best on paper. We don't know what we're going to get until they actually play. So I was one of those people that said, no, why'd you pick Amon-Ra St. Brown? This other wide receiver was here, and boom. You know what I'm saying? That was one of those picks that yeah. It's just one of those picks that weren't, we didn't look at it as a Ferrari, but he wound up being a Ferrari. I mean, that's just what it is with the draft. And I think the draft for each team is made not only in the first round, it's what you do in those mid rounds. Those picks that you pick up in the mid rounds, what can you get out of that mid, second and third and fourth round? I don't want to say fifth because you're kind of fishing at that point. You don't expect Tom Brady to come out of the 5th, 6th round. That's an anomaly. But, that second, third, and fourth round, you could actually get someone of value. And that's what I love about the draft. I go crazy about the draft, but I'm really, really dialed in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round because there could be some players there that could actually be a starter, within the right system, within the right personnel. Just, so that's what I look forward to.
The starting running back for the Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were drafted in the 5th round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But the thing is, like we and you talked off air, there hasn't been a premium or a value on running backs as they used to. Like we used to go crazy about the running backs that were coming out of college, and we, the best 3 or 4 went within the first 15 picks usually.
That's because the game's changed.
The game has changed. The base, your base defense is nickel defense more than likely, especially in college. You know what I'm saying? So the game has definitely changed. Back in the day, the base defense was a 4-3, maybe a 5-2. But now your base defense has a nickel back. So the game has changed. It's a passing game. It's starting to evolve into an athletic quarterback game like golf. And that was not good. I didn't mean golf, but but the quarterback position is definitely changing. I definitely see more of the athletic quarterback, the one that can make moves with his feet and you design run plays. You didn't put 10 years ago, you didn't put a quarterback in harm's way. You didn't run the quarterback because you knew he was going to get tackled. You try to make sure your quarterback didn't get touched. But now there's run designs, there's run option, run pass option. So it's a different game. It's a totally different game. There were some other notes that I got from you guys that we're going to talk about as well. I just want to know though, how you feel about the draft being in Lambeau. I mean, I think it's going to be, the air is just going to stink for some odd reason. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good place for bringing in these young players. But I'll let you go around the room and say, I mean, Lambeau in April. I don't know. Dave, how do you feel about the draft being in Lambeau?
It's going to be interesting. I hope to see a lot of Annie Agar.
Mm-hmm. Pay.
Now, when I was pointing behind me, that's Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
He was taken in the 5th round.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Maryland. Yes.
Mm-hmm. He just got a $69 million 3-year contract with the Patriots.
After a torn ACL.
Mm-hmm. As most likely would be wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
69 is a number for him. Yeah. Considering that the Bears are going to draft the final piece of the Super Bowl dynasty that we put together, the draft being in Lambeau is one word: special.
Special.
Yeah,
Special. They get to see, like I said, the final piece of a perennial Super Bowl contender going to their rival, if we're going to call it that. But I mean, because it's been so long since they've been able to beat us. But I want to posit this, guys. I mean, this might end up being, for all of us, this might be the best thing we've ever seen in Lambeau Field.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. Let's see.
Well, it's an upgrade. It could be an upgrade over what we normally see out of Lambeau.
There's no such thing as
it's got Bears fans. It's got Detroit fans. It'll have Vikings fans. It'll have fans from the whole league.
Bring some culture to that.
Yes.
That spot.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for the fans that have to endure that atmosphere, that stench that's going to be in the air, that stench cheese.
That Wisconsin air.
Yeah. It's
Wisconsin wind.
Yeah. It's not for the weak. Go around room. I wanted to ask each of you, and I'll start with Pay. Player on your team, who makes the biggest leap going forward this year?
I think the easiest thing to say would be, Caleb Williams, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you expect the number first overall pick quarterback who's got everything he's been given to make another step forward in his second year. But I'm gonna zig a little bit. I'm going to tell you that the guy who makes the biggest leap this year is going to be Darnell Wright, the right tackle of the Chicago Bears. Darnell Wright was the number 9 pick, if I'm not mistaken, or the number 11 pick, something like that, the year prior to Caleb Williams. We traded back to get him, missing on a few players that I have been started their careers off very well, Jalen Carter being one of them. But Darnell Wright, he's been pretty mid. You can tell he doesn't have a very a winning morning routine. He doesn't rise and grind all the time. But this year, the book is out. Year 3 is going to be his year. I feel it. I feel it for him. He's going to wake up every day and have banana peel moisturizers and just start the day with wins on the mind. I just know it for him, and we need that. We need that coming out of our first round draft pick on the line.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
My hospital stay would have cost $25,000, but with VA healthcare, it's free.
My education would have cost $42,000, but with VA benefits, my books, tuition, and housing are all covered.
The down payment for my home would have been $74,000, but with my VA home loan, my down payment was $0. My service was then, My benefits are now. Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Dave.
Well, the obvious one is going to be J.J. McCarthy, who sat out all last year. But if I went with a secondary one, it's going to be somebody out of the secondary named Theo Jackson. Okay. Theo Jackson is a safety of ours, young safety, who's played well when he's gotten the opportunity. Well, now with Cam Bynum going to the Indianapolis Colts, it looks like he's going to be starting next to Harrison Phillips. I think he's going to do great. And you're going to go, wow, where'd that kid come from?
B. Foster, same question.
So I had to think about it. I was like, oh, we saw some nice progression from a couple of our players, Jameson Williams, Brian Branch, players of that nature. But I think even Jameson Williams, but I think the obvious one for this year is Terrion Arnold, a player that kind of fell in our lap. We, didn't think that he would be around. We were able to trade up and grab him. He had what a lot of people would be considered a disappointing year, but he's very battle tested. He has all the tools necessary and certainly has some good experience to advance. And I think that he's going to make the best of that, and he's going to assert himself as with the tutelage and veteran experience of a DJ Reed that can provide some mentorship. But I think that he has everything he needs to put in the work and be a potential CB1 when it's all said and done. And I see he's been in the studio making some music. Hopefully he doesn't spend too much time, in that way. But yeah, I think that Terrion Arnold should be well equipped after a long year. But he was healthy and he was asked to do quite a bit, that he can start taking some strides towards being the top corner on the team.
Until you said what you said about him making music, I was like, I hope he's having a strong off season. But
the one little hook he had was decent. I was like, okay, all right, that's all right.
There's one person I hope that makes a leap, and that's Marcus Davenport to leap his ass out the roster for some odd reason. I don't know. I just don't.
You might as well hope he plays.
I can't embrace the notion of that guy. He just we'll see. I always pick the wrong people, so he's so it is what it is.
You're doing the counter jinx.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl season loaded right now.
Yeah. There's optimism
for all 17 games, and then in the postseason.
There's optimism there, but I just can't say it. I have to speak the opposite. So that's what I'm doing. We do have opening day for baseball on the way. Tomorrow. A lot of teams' opening days is tomorrow. Pay posted this question. Is opening day for baseball bigger than opening day for football? Now, that's a tough question. We'll go around the room. We'll answer that. You asked the question, but I'm not going to start with you. I'm going to start with B. Foster. He covers Corner to Copa. So, and he covers the football. So I'm going to ask you, Foster, which day is bigger, opening day for baseball or opening day for football?
I think it's definitely baseball. I think they have a true – I don't think football – everybody, beginning of the season, it is what it is, but I think baseball has a true culture. The one thing about it is baseball, everybody doesn't start at home, of course. So every city has its own personal opening day but I feel like if the Lions start the season in Tampa Bay and then their second game is at home in Detroit, I feel like the luster of the opening is no longer there. In baseball, your original opener is whenever you're at home. So that's where it differs between football and baseball, but a lot of that is kind of just based on what sport do you prefer. Some people have a preference. Of course, if you love football and not big on baseball, you're going to say football regardless. True answer is baseball, though.
Football.
Dave, Minnesota Twins or Minnesota Vikings?
That's easy. The Vikings. Even though the Twins have won 2 World Series, the Minnesota Vikings. The opening in the NFL season. Now, it starts on Thursday night, and it lasts all the way through Monday night. Is bigger. It's numerically, you get more views. Does it have as rich of a tradition as baseball? Baseball is just packed full of tradition, and everybody misses that. But when I think of the grand opening days of baseball, I think of watching it on film, studying World War II or post-World War II, or even up to the Yankees and Dodgers and things like that of old with when they battled it out, or the St. Louis Cardinals. But it's not as big today as the NFL is. The NFL owns everything. And the NFL is doing more and more for that week 1 celebration of the sport. And it's replaced baseball, in my opinion.
Respect it. Pay Chicago Cubs or Chicago Bears opening day.
What about the White Sox?
The who?
He don't.
The White Sox.
He doesn't claim those.
I don't.
You said low end. You said low end. No.
Yeah, that's
Not Orchard Park.
I don't think anybody in Chicago really claims the White Sox like that. I mean, it's just something to do if you got $12 in your pocket. For me, I think opening day is more of a thing because it's a day thing. You can do the thing all day. You can watch baseball. You can take off from school. I got 1 o'clock first pitch, and you got another game after that. It's just it's a full day of watching baseball, and it used to be a big thing. I mean, I'm old enough to remember which it used to. The Major League Baseball used to always start opening day in Cincinnati. They used to have a parade. They used to have I think they had. I know it was a couple of times the president was there to throw out the first pitch for the Cincinnati Reds. It used to be a big thing out there in Cincinnati. Now it's more, it's more of a national TV type of thing. So it's more diverse now. Whereas versus football's opening night. You have a lot of build up and pregame. You have like a 6-hour pregame to one game in which the defending champions play an upstart or a team that they beat along the way last year. And sometimes that game lives up to the hype and sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times the defending champ loses and, it goes into a thing. I think from a gambler's perspective, you like the football aspect of it. But from a fan's perspective, and definitely a fan who's been around it enough, the baseball opening day is just something special about it.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to take the easy route out and say it just depends on the team and the city. I know here in Detroit, I've never worked anywhere where on opening day, people didn't wear the employers allowed, never mind the uniform, you can wear your Tigers jersey in today. Or they would have in the cafeterias, wherever you're working, they would have baseball food, so it'd be that type of thing going on. I know here in Detroit, opening day is it's a big thing. And no matter if the first game is in Los Angeles, like it is tomorrow, opening day they have 2 opening days away and the first one here in Detroit. So I think it's a tough question. I think it depends on the team, the franchise, and the city. That's just from what I observe. But for me, being a diehard football fan, there's nothing better than opening kickoff on that Thursday night. Like, that's just, it is what it is. Gearing up towards the end of the show, I got one more thing to talk about, and there was a rule change suggestion. We had a scenario last year where we had a 15-2 Detroit Lions team and a 14-3 Vikings team, and they had to go on the road and play their first the first wild card game. And there was some suggestions about the realignment. Now, Dave, you can go word for word about the suggestion because I can't, but I know what the suggestion is for the people that's watching. What was the suggestion made by the Lions as far as the rule change?
It was to set up the playoffs by your record. You're seeded by your record.
Mm-hmm.
And so that a 8-9 division winner wouldn't host a game because you have the Minnesota Vikings at 14-3 and the Green Bay Packers were 11-5 and stuff like that. They would seed higher, and the 4 on the wild card weekend, your highest teams would play minus you guys, which would have had to buy. Everybody else, the highest teams would host, even if they weren't division winners.
Okay. So with that being said, are you receptive to the suggestion?
No. I think it cheapens the division. It cheapens the division title. We play each other twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. And if our division is good this year, hey, great. We're usually beating up on each other, but we do great. We all played the AFC South last year, and we all benefited from it.
Mm-hmm.
Minus maybe Chicago. But it was we shouldn't have precedent over the NFC West or whomever because they may have had a tougher schedule. This year, the NFC North has a much tougher schedule ahead of it. I don't see us winning 14-13 and or 15 and 14 win games. If it's great, we'll dominate. But I don't think it is. And if you start to weaken the division, how far do you take it? If it means nothing, why play each team twice? Go to give you all 4 divisions within the NFC, and then have the 2 or 3 extra games once we go to 18 games be associated rank in the AFC, and do it that way. So you can say, hey, every team played every team in the NFC, and they ranked this high. Detroit was at 15-2. Minnesota was at 14-3. Blah, blah, blah. And then do it that way. I could better see that, but you're getting rid of the tradition of the conference. The conference where we have to know each other backwards and forwards. We got to play each other at each other's stadiums every season. And you get rid of that. And I don't think it's fair because the NFL, like baseball, is built on tradition. There's over 100 years of it. And what makes the NFC North, which used to be the NFC Central, so special, right? It was that our teams always played each other. And that was something that we look forward to, whether Chicago was beating Green Bay year after year after year, or it flipped, and Green Bay was beating Chicago and owned them year after year after year. It was always fun to watch. And then you had Detroit. Back in the day, back in the 50s, was a powerhouse. And then we came in the 60s and in the late 60s and early 70s, and we stomped everybody. But the traditions and the rivalries and Detroit being the little brother that, you pat on the head and all that stuff is built in. Fans love it. But if you see differently, you start to lose that. And I think that would be a huge, huge loss. Now, I could compromise and go, all right, wild card weekend, the division winners host. And then after wild card weekend, you can rank it by schedule, by record. That would be a legit compromise I think I could buy off on. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the owners, there's not enough votes. It's not going to change.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a different spin. I think the reward in playing each other in the division is the actual guaranteed spot in the playoffs. I did not like the fact that a team like Minnesota can go 14-3 and have to play on the road. That was my only thing. But that happened. That's so rare of an occurrence that I don't see why that would, you don't just change the rule because of 1 year. I also can see where, let's say you have a division like the NFC South, and let's say they do whatever the winner out of the NFC, let's say they go 8-9, but win the division. I mean, do they deserve to host with an 8-9 record? That hasn't happened. That's just one of those scenarios where it could happen, and it is what it is. They can be 8-9. They can be 8-9 and win the division and host a team, that's 13-3 or 13-4 or whatever. So that's the only thing that I can see that why I wouldn't like it, but it's a rare, like those are two occurrences that don't happen on a regular. You very rarely see a team within a division that wins 15 games and the second place team wins 14 games. That's rare.
It's happened before where a team won a division at 7-9 and 11, and there was a team that was 11 and 5 that didn't make the playoffs.
It's crazy. That was the Patriots, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's when Brady got hurt, towards ACL. Oh, can't hear you any more, Dave.
He was talking.
I was talking to my camera.
Oh, okay. You guys got all this technology, man. I just once you see me how it is.
I saw it coming when he had that hand going. All the histrionics. The camera was like, "Yep, that's my cue.
I'm going in."
Yeah, once my camera set, this is what you're gonna see, baby. There's no adjustments, and unless you see me stand up and move it, that's it. Hey, what do you feel about the rule change suggestion?
Well, there's two of them. I believe it was the Lions that said they want to get the tush push out of there. No, what was that? That was
the Packers.
That was
Lions
the Packers.
Is legalizing demolishing wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm with both of them. I don't necessarily. I'm not anti push tush. I'm not for push tush, but I am against those thugs in Philadelphia. I'm tired of them getting away with their nonsense, right? Okay, they've got enough out of it. They had a good 3-year run. All right, let's move it back. We're trying to advance the game of football, not bring it back to the 1912s. All right, we don't have steamships that run into icebergs anymore. We have super streamliners, right? We have GPS. Let's keep going in the right direction. Cut the crap, Philadelphia, and don't eat it either.
Foster.
Whatever rule doesn't water down the rivalry of your division is the rule that I'm for. So be there. So I think that would keep it would be the rule making it to where whoever wins the division, regardless of rare occasions where you go, where there's a lesser team that ends up hosting due to the fact that they won in a weaker division. I want there to continue to be a push to win within your division and play as well as you can play against the guys within your division that you play twice a year, like Dave said. So,
yeah, it is what it is, man. I don't think because of the occurrence last year it should be changed. I don't want to take away the integrity of the league play. I mean, it seems like there's no friendly rivals, and that's the way I like it. Every game means something within the division. Fellas, that about wrap it up for today. We'll go around the room one last time, and you can tell them where they can find you, what you got going on. I think Dave has shows today. Dave, what you got going on there, bud?
Here at 6 o'clock shortly, we have the Real Forno Show, and we're going to be talking about the main reason why the national media views the idea of J.J. McCarthy being a starter as almost absurd, and why the local press thinks the national media's idiots to think so. On top of that, we're going over Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa's presser today, where I touched on where he asked, does anybody ever tell the quarterback he's QB1? We'll see about that. And we're going to get in the draft, a scenario where the Minnesota Vikings take a wide receiver at 24.
That would be interesting.
You can find us all on Vikings First and Skol YouTube page, as well as Vikings First and Skol on your favorite podcast aggregator, and VikingsFirstandSkol.com will drive you to Fans First Sports Network's Vikings page. Come join us. Let's Skol.
Yeah. One of the things I want to do this offseason is find a Green Bay representative to be on the show. That's what I want to do. Pay.
We don't.
What you got? Any last words? Where can they find you? What you got going on? You got a lot going on. You're a CEO.
We're doing, as you know, baseball season does kick off tomorrow. So we're going to, other than baseball series recaps for the Cubs and White Sox, we're doing film review, film study up until the draft. So we have a month of film study. We're going to drop the Shamar Stewart tape that does drop today. That's located at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan YouTube channel. It's a YouTube exclusive. It's not coming out on audio. Why would you want to listen to us talk about what we're watching? That's not a good audio show. So check that out on the YouTube page, Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel.
B. Foster. Put a bow on this so we can get out of here.
Yeah, you can. Obviously, the baseball season is starting tomorrow, so me and Coach are going to have a show tonight talking about the final roster, some controversy there, and talk about just preview the opening day series against the LA Dodgers, the defending World Series the defending World Series champs, LA Dodgers, and how we might line up, but got a lot of injuries for the Tigers, so should be interesting.
And you can find me and B. Foster on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube and any of the aggregators. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find us. Just type in Bleachers Speakers, FFSN, in your search. Make sure you're following us. Make sure that notification bell is on so when we drop content, because we will be dropping a lot of content, whether or not it's football season or not. In the off season, we work just as diligently as we do during the season. All of us do here. Our work is never done. We'll continue to do these shows as well. You might not see any kickoffs, but you'll hear and see a lot of us talk football because that's what we do. And that's about it for today, fellas. We had a great show. It's kind of, can be rough trying to do a show during the off season, but we love football so much, and there are things going on that the people do not know about, and that's why we're here to bring it to the people. Dave, what does your team say? And I hate I gotta ask Pay this next, but what do they say over there in Minnesota?
We always say Skol Vikings.
I gotta take a breather for this. Hey, what are they saying over there in Chicago?
Don't hate on the Bear down. 2025 NFC champs.
You in the comedy, boy. B Foss. Well, no, I got it, Foss. Have a great Wednesday. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nugget gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nugget gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick